evening, everybody. Welcome to GM Chat. Tonight with Nikki and Jeff.
Yay!
For those of you who watch this show but weren't around to hear the announcement last night, Mike is currently undergoing a medical procedure in the hospital, and he's going to be out for at least a week, maybe two. So Nikki was nice enough to come on and co-host, so you don't have to sit and listen to just me talk for an hour, because that would bore even me.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, it's one of the things I've learned from being on the radio. I'm shit by myself.
That's not true, because I listen to your Sunday morning shows, and you're just fine.
Well, but the Sunday morning shows are scripted.
That's
and
fine.
If I can script it, I'm fine.
You're so silly.
It's just that whole, improv by myself thing that doesn't go too well. So
silly.
But tonight we're going to talk about an instance that I've been told people have run across more than once, and that's you've run a one-shot. And your players liked it enough that they ask you to do it again.
What?
Guys? Then what? I mean, it's one thing to figure out a one-shot. But What happens when people say, yes, we want more, please? And you have to go,
Possums.
Oh, I have to go back and figure out more of that? Okay.
Right. Is it a continuation? Is it a time slip?
Right.
Is it a portal jump? Is
it a completely different adventure in the same world, same place?
Or is it a completion of the whole thing? Just oops, it's a little bit longer.
Right. Yeah, and it's interesting because this is exactly what we did to Nikki. We were talking about putting together something for New Year's Day, kind of as an alternative for people who don't want to watch football.
Yeah.
And Mike said, it was either Mike or Pam, but one of them said, you should run more Possums.
Yes, that is exactly what was said. I don't remember by who, but because after that, it was like sheer panic. What? More Possums?
Yeah. And then everybody else kind of went, absolutely, run more Possums. Except for Annette, who went, okay.
More Possums. Okay.
But yeah, so
I should give her the chance to go through a portal and turn into a llama folk. She might dig that one better.
They wouldn't know what to do. Like the Possums would be like, what is that thing? What is that thing? Can we eat it?
True. I need to do a little more possum lore.
Could make clothes out of it.
Right.
It looks soft. Maybe we should just cuddle it.
There you go.
It can be our pet. Just like the chicken had a pet. Boy, we could have a pet, whatever that is.
Right.
Fuzzy thing.
Yeah.
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 It could work.
I'm a little stuck on my possums because I personally don't know enough about liches. And the information that's out there is okay, but it's not answering the specific questions that I have. So I've contacted an expert, and they're supposed to get with me hopefully before January 1st, buddy. Because we fought a lich in Buddy's in the home game. We fought a lich.
Right.
And it disappeared. And so that storyline, that Wikipedia of all that information that happened, and like, what now? We go look for a phylactery. We don't. That's the part that I need to like proceed with the possums.
Well, basically, I guess the easiest parallel is Voldemort with 1 Horcrux remaining.
Right, but
that's pretty much where that creature is at right now.
I don't know if I screwed the pooch by making him die.
But he didn't die. He was defeated.
Correct.
He will come back. He will regenerate because his phylactery wasn't destroyed.
Correct. Now, the way it's written, I don't know if he's already a lich or not. So I'm going to have to do like that research. Like, I don't know.
If he's not already a lich, then he is dead.
Right. So that's what I have to figure out.
If he is a lich, then he's somewhere.
Right. And he wouldn't be a lich yet. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. Now I have to figure out, they have the phylactery. What now?
Well, now it would be the lich and the lich's folk trying to figure out how to recover the phylactery.
Right.
And the people who have it trying to figure out, are they going to use it to try to control the lich, or are they just going to destroy it and therefore destroy the lich?
That's true.
And usually if you're good aligned, you don't try to control the lich.
Right. I'm not necessarily sure that they would know how to, or I'm not sure that the possums would know anything about anything.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Right.
But
well, the quest could be for them to,
do the research and try to figure out what to do with the thing.
To go find some expert that they've heard about.
That's true.
To borrow something from the other game that we play, maybe there's a wise old tree somewhere.
Right.
That knows about all
you
this
do
stuff.
have a wise old possum mama.
Right.
Basically.
Actually, though, it wouldn't be a tree. It would have to be something arcane or something with knowledge of arcane, because clerical magic doesn't make liches.
Right. No, absolutely.
That's the one undead that is almost thoroughly arcane in nature and not something that's, done by necromantic magic that's available to everyone.
Right. You have Iris the Elder. Iris the Elder Possum. She's a druid, but she could know, if not what to do with it, know where to go.
Yeah, she might be the one to sort of point people in the right direction. Like maybe she happened across a wizard at some point.
Right.
And, maybe, you could have a lot of fun with that. The wizard could be, it could be an ogre magi.
Right.
And it's just the ogre thought the possums were funny, and so they didn't try and kill them or eat them. And so she actually has, some sort of working relationship with this creature.
Right. Now, then, about 20 minutes for each thing. If we can't do the possum game due to #adulting.
Right.
One of the other thoughts is a one-shot like a Honey Heist, written by Grant Howitt. It is a one-page game, kind of not based on rolling a 20-sided die. It's more based on rolling d6s. And he does a whole bunch of them, but Geek and Sundry and Critical Role made them a little bit famous when Marisha Ray is the game master for a honey heist. Mm-hmm. And the honey heist originally starts out as your bears and you want to get honey, but there's this big convention going on in town with honey, but you're bears. And how do you figure that out, And so you have, that one is pretty simple. You've got two things. You're either bear or criminal. So anything you do that is bear-like, wanting to get the honey, rubbing up on a tree, stuff like that, gets you a point in bear. Then there's points in criminal that want, like stealing a car, hot wiring a car, that'll get you points in criminal. And then if you go too much one way, you betray the group if you go criminal, or if you go too much the other way, you become too much bear. And there's way to, like take 1 point out of each so that you don't end up being caught by the animal patrol.
And the park rangers.
One of the one-shots that I found was called Parks and Recs.
Yeah, REX, Rex.
REX, Rex. So basically, you are the dinosaurs at that famous park.
An amusement park featuring real dinosaurs.
That's correct. And it was kind of discussed a little bit, and potentially that might be another option if we can't do the possums on New Year's Day, which also comes to a different point of doing a one-shot where it's completely mechanics that you're not familiar with. Like, I'm barely familiar with 5th edition mechanics in general, but this one is completely it's a different thing entirely. And like our New Year's Eve's in past, we've done different one-shots with different game mechanics. So how do you turn that around? I mean, obviously we've done them with people who are skilled, game masters who are skilled at, who've done the games before. But how do you just go and be all adventurous and be like, I'll do this one instead, and I have no idea what I'm doing? Oh yeah, that's me.
Right. Yeah. What our group is doing just for us on New Year's Eve is I'm actually going to be running a one-shot of a Cathan for a whole new different group of people. Like, it'll be all new players and characters, and I just accidentally flashed what I'm going to show you on the screen, actually, because I was trying to get it set up.
Oh,
but
wish I would have had my Twitch up. Dang it! That's okay.
Yeah. So let me, get rid of that, and then I have to go through here, and that's the one I want. If you can see on the screen right now, sometime several months ago, just on a whim, I decided to expand the map of known Icathan. And this is what I'm calling Western Icathan.
Ooh.
And right in the middle, there's this city called Glamareth. And
nice.
You can see from all of the paths leading to all the other places that it's kind of a central hub for that section of the continent.
Yeah.
And that's where the game's going to take place.
Ooh, I'm excited. Is that a waterfall?
Yes, it is.
It's a waterfall. Ooh,
yes, it is.
I'm excited.
And up above that waterfall, that Cairn Kuldor is a city constructed entirely of iron.
Ooh. Do dwarves live there?
It's a dwarven city, yes.
At least I'm learning enough about D&D to know that certain things go together.
Yeah. But yeah, there's I've already got, basic ideas for a lot of those locations. One of them is an elven ruin.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
That'd be pretty helpful in the game that I'm currently playing in.
Yes. Well, at some point in the future, probably sometime in 2021, you may end up in Western Acathan.
We probably will.
So there's so much on the horizon right now. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I know.
But it got me thinking that, so okay, this is my little pet world that I've been writing and, we've been playing in since June. What if I run this game for sort of our larger, off-camera gaming group, and people say, hey, that was fun. Can we do it more?
I know what happens. What then?
Yes, especially since I'm not really planning on coming back to Western Acathan right now until we get there with the 4.
Right. Well, and you just next year, maybe.
And then I have to think, oh, Lordy, can I possibly prep 2 of these games a week?
No. Oh, no.
No. I don't think so. Maybe
Not
if I had absolutely nothing
suffer.
else to do, I could pull that off.
Yeah. But then again, the people that you have currently, I'm not necessarily sure. I'm on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, not Wednesday. I have 2 things Thursday and Friday, and Saturday is the only day we have sometimes off.
Right.
So it would have to be...
No, I wasn't thinking for the stream.
No, I know.
I was thinking we'd roll it into it would get rolled into the Saturday schedule that we have for our other game at the moment.
I think that getting game mastering from you is a treat. And
that's very nice.
I mean, we currently have, for a while there, we were doing 3 different games a month, and it was so hard to keep track of.
Yes.
I personally don't know if we did a Western Acathan game and a regular Acathan game. I don't know if I would get confused, personally, because I get confused easy.
I'm sure I would get confused.
I would imagine so.
So.
But maybe next January.
Yeah, maybe 2021 to 2022.
Mm-hmm.
We could.
Yeah, and maybe you can make it part of the stream then.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Might be fun.
Maybe. Yeah, introduce you all to some of the other players from our Saturday games.
Right.
That haven't shown up on the stream yet. Although you've met a couple of them, because Buddy's been on this show a couple times.
Yeah.
And Leslie was on this show once.
Yep.
So those are 2 of our players from the other game.
Dropping some science knowledge on us.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, it's, I figured this was a good topic because it's something that you are dealing with and something that I, conceivably could be dealing with even if it is a year from now.
Right. And that's just it. It's I know how long it took me with materials prepped by someone else to get the game done. And I still forgot so many things because, it was down to 3 hours instead of 4. And it was down to 2.5 hours because you have a half hour of introductions and prep.
Right.
And then I know how long I tried to prep for it and it still went a little sideways. But now I have no one else's notes. I mean, I've already done the prep partway. So now it's you've got to figure out new maps, potential NPCs that they've not run into before, new side tracks, quests, those kinds of things. Whereas the last one was pretty much straightforward. And
this one can be too.
Well, that's true.
Especially since it is going to be a one-shot. But because you're not you're not constrained to 3 hours this time.
No, I'm not.
You can make it a little bit more of an involved. There could be 3 things that they need to do before they get to the thing at the end, and those 3 things could be done in any order.
Right.
So. And, yeah, in terms of maps and NPCs, I can help you out with some resources. I have a site that I make all my NPCs on.
And I mean, well, that's just it. You may not find any NPCs because you might just be continuing a dungeon crawl.
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
I mean, I will tell you this. I wish I could reintroduce the world to my House of Horrors that I did, my one shot that I did the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's such a cool concept and I have so many monsters made for it, obviously it was not born to be a one shot. But the problem is, most of you who played it now know the not mechanics, but like the background. And so like if we tried to do it again, you'd all know what to do to introduce it. I don't know.
Right.
Though.
But at the same time, just because we understand the concept doesn't mean we understand what's going to happen.
True. Well, to get into the house, you would know because it would be pretty much the same thing. But and then again, none of you may remember,
right?
Because it's been
or
2+ years.
You could make it different. Like getting into the house might be something completely different this time. It might be, the put the candle back thing from Young Frankenstein that suddenly we're in the house again,
Right, exactly. That's true.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the same. That's the cool thing about when you write something, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
That's where those sticks from the Jogrovanans came from. I was like, these people have been sitting there nursing their wounds and doing magical research.
Right.
So they are going to have come up with some stuff that is going to confound other people.
Yeah. That's super cool.
So.
Yeah. Well, because I know this also comes with just kind of writing your own world and your own story for a regular game, continuing on past the one shot. But, yeah, I have 25 monsters for the house, like big monsters. So right. It's like, well, how in God's name did I think it was going to be a one shot? I did all the research,
You prepped it so that it could go in any possible direction.
I did though, because who knows which number or where he would have gone.
Last night, while the 30-minute countdown to the beginning of the Cathan was running, mm-hmm. I was typing stats into a spreadsheet, getting ready for something that ended up not happening at all.
Ooh,
so
fancy.
It's what you do. You just try and get as prepared as you can, and if you don't use it, well, then you have the potential to reuse that sort of thing elsewhere. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that this is not going to be the last time you encounter the blood of Xuthos.
I'm 90% sure. 97.
So, but it may be
way
completely
later
different things that emerge out of the next time,
Right. Who knows? It's so exciting.
Yeah, that stuff that substance is really nasty. So there's lots of horrible things I could do with it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
We can't wait until you call forth the evil.
Oh yeah. And that, I will say, I'm looking forward to next Tuesday night more than I think I've looked forward to a Tuesday night since we started.
Because it's a dungeon crawl?
Because
it's a big scary dungeon crawl.
I am attempting to figure out how to do a good old-fashioned dungeon crawl in 5th edition. Because 5th edition isn't set up for the kind of dungeon crawls that we're used to in 3rd.
Right.
So we'll see. I'll be very, very curious to see if the way I've put it together works.
Hopefully we won't die.
Yeah. Hopefully Mike is back before you hit a certain portion of it.
Oh, sneaky, sneaky. I'm gonna pick up a bag of rocks.
Because I wrote it with all 4 of you in mind.
Right.
So.
And now we have a 4th, but he is not a sneaky snack.
No. He's
another
basically
bard.
very similar to Tasha in terms of power and abilities.
Yes. So 2 bards does not a sneaky sneak make.
No. I mean, although because they're bards, they can try, and they actually probably have a better chance of succeeding than any other class besides Rogue would.
That's
because
funny.
They're closest.
Right.
Them and Rangers probably would be the 2 closest.
Oh, Ranger, yeah, that'd be probably. Yeah. I can see that.
But yeah, so that's going to be fun. So we got off track. Let's go back to
one-shots.
This idea of one-shots. So let's look at it in terms of, like, what are your options? You're going back to a previous one-shot and you're trying to expand on it. We mentioned them briefly at the beginning, but let's try and talk through them a little bit. The first one is that you simply return to the same setting with the same characters, but a new story.
Return to same setting, but new story, right?
Yep. The second one would be you return to the same setting with the same characters and continue on the story from the one-shot.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
then,
taking notes. What?
Obviously, the third one is one you're not going to use, but the third one is you return to the same setting,
same world,
with different characters.
Right.
So pretty much, it seems to me like you're needing to choose between the first option and the second option.
Right. Well, and within those comes, some person can fall through a time and space continuum warp, and then everybody's going to get there, or they're going to try to find a thing and they're going to search it, and it's going to take them someplace special. And
sure.
Do you follow, or do you, there's so many options. That's just it. I think the possibilities are too endless, and reining them back in might be a little, I won't say difficult for me, but like there's just too many options.
Well, this is where what I would do is I would open up a Word document and I would start typing them out and numbering them.
Different options? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just say, okay, this is my first idea, this is my second idea, my third, my fourth, my fifth, and, blah, 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 blah. And then write, like, 2 sentences to sort of explain the basic story of that idea.
Right. And I did a spreadsheet for my first one with descriptions, actions that needed to happen, NPCs, like all that stuff, which could still be continued with different options.
Yeah. Then what I would do is just rank them. I'd go through and think, okay, which one's going to be the most fun for me? Which one are my players going to enjoy the most?
Right.
And getting those 2 factors. And I guess a third factor, which is going to be easiest to prep.
Right.
And just take those 3 factors and figure out, okay, how do you rank those, 5, 8, 12 ideas you came up with, and then save it, and then erase all but the top 3.
Right, exactly.
And then just choose from those. And that usually ends up coming down to me, what's going to be the most fun for me. Because I've already thought about, the prep and how are my players going to enjoy this, but then ultimately just picking from those top 3, I would go, which one seems the neatest to me? Which one seems like it's going to be the most fun?
The most fun,
to
right.
me. And that's what I'd choose.
The most fun.
So, but you kind of have to, you have to ride herd on yourself, because I know exactly what you mean about kind of going down the rabbit hole of possibilities.
Oh, right.
You have to limit yourself. You have to kind of set parameters for yourself. Say, okay, I'm going to write down ideas, and when I get to 10, I'm going to stop.
Right.
And then I'm just going to deal with those 10.
There's 4 characters, and each character, I mean, like, has complete development that there's, character development that no one knows, not even them yet, because, it's kind of a peripheral, this is sort of what I want my character to be, but they don't have a background yet that you can, explore. Right. So there's that option also.
Yeah. The problem, though, with that is that you have to be careful you don't put yourself in a situation where you're running your sequel to the one-shot and favoring one character over the rest.
True.
That sort of thing is usually reserved for campaigns where each
person is going to get...
everybody's going to get the spotlight at some point in the story.
Right.
Yeah.
There's just so much.
It's going to be interesting. Little spoiler alert. There's going to be a new focus coming after the dungeon crawl.
Oh, for not the Possums.
Not for the Possums, but for...
I was very confused.
For Tuesday night.
There is? Yep. Oh my gosh, I didn't know.
Yep. It's gonna be, it's gonna start off with an old focus, and then a new focus is gonna be revealed along the way.
Ooh, so you're giving out so much information. I feel like I know things I shouldn't know.
Well, I'm saying stuff, but I'm not really saying anything.
True.
So
we can always pretend we're knowing what you're gonna come up with later.
Yeah, I don't know. No, you don't.
Probably not.
No, because it involves a portion of someone's backstory that hasn't been revealed to anybody but me and that person.
Well, right. That was what I was going to guess. So.
Yeah, but it should be fun. But that doesn't mean that you can't take the backstory for one of the Possums and spin something off from it.
For everyone.
That would be something that everybody could participate in.
Right, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Maybe if they need to learn about liches, maybe they need to actually go back to the elves.
Right.
And somehow convince them to help them with this thing that's so far above their ability level that, the elves are just going to look at them like, you're insane, little
You're
critters.
fighting a lich? What?
You're suicidal, little critters. What are you thinking?
Right.
You primitive little bastards.
Oh, they kind of are, but that's okay.
Right. But yeah, I mean,
adorable, primitive little bastards.
Yeah. Especially, what is it? Pouches? Pockets?
Pouches. I was like, pockets? That's interesting. No, that's not the right guy.
Nope. But especially Pouches with his whole stupid cussing thing.
Oh, I think that's pretty stinking hilarious.
I do too. What a way to make something PG without sacrificing your ability to swear. I mean, really.
Correct.
I mean, if I
could only learn that in my real life.
I put that right up there with Firefly deciding to swear in Mandarin.
Oh yeah. Right. We're gonna get by the board.
Yep.
Just watch how we fly.
Well, and Joss is a master at that. I mean, he was doing it in Buffy.
Correct.
When you have in the opening for the show a character who looks at the camera and goes, and it's in the opening of every show.
Right. It's my 2-finger salute to you, board.
Mm-hmm. I love that sort of stuff. I just saw a meme the other day that said, why is cussing still not allowed on television? Y'all just need to get over yourselves and worry about your own business.
Well, yeah. I mean, the amount of violence and gore that is allowed versus cussing is...
And sex.
And sex. Oh, yeah, and sex.
Yeah, I've always thought it's an interesting comparison because in the U.S. it's pretty much unlimited violence and gore, but no sex and no foul language. In England, it's the opposite. They have no problem with people swearing, no problem with showing people running around topless and, hopping into bed with each other and, all types of LGBTQ plus relationships, but no violence and very, very, very little blood.
Very limited violence, very limited blood. I mean, they've got actual camera shows of people having sex, and it's a show about good sex, like trying to figure out what's going on, and they have a video of what's going on, and it's like, oh, okay, that's definitely not what we would do.
Yeah. George Carlin once quoted someone. He didn't know who it was, so he couldn't give him credit. But he said, somebody said it, and I wish I know who it was so I could give him credit. But somebody said, I would much rather have my kids watching two people making love than two people trying to kill each other.
Right.
And I always thought, actually that makes a lot of sense because one is natural and one is evil.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And there's another interesting thing. I know this is so getting way off topic, but something that Pam said last night made me think about this just now. How do you handle sex in a role-playing game?
Oh, obviously, I can't do it.
Well, I mean, from a game master's perspective, let's say
Marisha and
Petey and what's Pam's character's name?
Oh. Really?
Yeah, okay. Well, her character and Mike's character decide to get into a little bit of muskrat love kind of thing.
Right.
How in the world do you run that?
Starts with a P. I cannot think of her name right now. I don't know.
Poppy.
And that's the other thing is how do you start interacting between yourself, the player, and yourself, the game master, where it's I know you. I don't necessarily know that I'd be comfortable role-playing some kind of woo sexy music action situation going. I don't know. I don't know how to role-play that. Here's another one. What happens if somebody accidentally becomes evil?
Oh, well.
In your one shot.
Well, that certainly gives you material for the next one.
Unless it happens at the beginning of this one here. Mm-hmm.
Well, then maybe the rest of the game is, we have to save such and such.
Correct.
Something has happened. He has become sick.
Right, that's
We
true.
must cure him.
Right. Why can I not think of her name right now?
Poppy.
Oh, there you go. Shoot, I was about to look it up. I could not for the life of me figure out what her name was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think another hard part of one-shots is, like we talked about the last time, about now knowing how to let it develop within the time that you're allotted. You have no idea if it's going to go left or right. And you've got 8 hours of information over here and 20 minutes over here. And one-shots, even more so than other things, rely on quick thinking. If they went to the left and, you give them a portal or something, or, even a tunnel to what you had planned on the right, you just got to be on your toes.
Well, one of the things you can do is you remember that even if you've like, say, for example, you've given your players 3 options. And you look at the time and you realize that, okay, one of these options is significantly more important than the other 2.
Right.
And they don't pick that one.
Right.
Just rotate the locations and have it be that, oh my gosh, look, they picked the right option.
Correct.
They didn't know, but they did.
Right. And that's the other thing is you and I, as the GMs, are the only one that know the real.
Exactly.
Because there was a flock of chickens that you were supposed to fight, but with time, it was like, well, I guess I'm not having 3 flocks of chickens come at them because that will be a bummer. Right. But I could see it in my head. It was going to be fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the thing. As long as it flows, I mean, as long as it seems rational and logical, the players aren't going to care.
Correct.
If they're having fun, they're not going to sit there and go, was this just changed now just for us? No, they don't care. They don't care.
Someone
they're looking at it.
Might be thinking things like that occasionally, but not everybody's going to.
Right. And, like we've talked about on this show before, part of being a good game master is the art of bullshit.
And on-the-go editing.
Yep. Being able to sort of hold all this stuff out in front of you and sort of see it and make split-second decisions about, yeah, that's gone now.
Right.
And yeah, this is over here now, and this is here now, and I wasn't planning that, but I'm going to bring this in because
right.
This has happened.
And that is the over-planning part. I want to be able to say that I've got 10 things in the background if things go awry that I can pull from, whereas, I've got 2 things, one goes awry and the other one is bad. It's like, well, now you have to think of an entirely, large situation potentially on the fly.
Right.
And I'm not that good. I have to have all of my, well, not all of my options, but like, because I'm not practiced enough. I was trying to be overly ready for pretty much anything. And I was pretty much for the first Possum game. I had many options. Well, I guess I'll still have many options. Because there's still a couple places you guys haven't on the map. There's like one whole room you guys haven't found from the previous game. So
right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, we could continue from where we left off. That could be included in backstory.
Correct.
That
yeah.
Before you left, you also discovered blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And you went back to your village with that knowledge. And
right. Yeah. Before you left. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's the other thing, too, is that remember that, above and beyond everything else, as a game master, you're a storyteller. If it makes more sense for you to encapsulate something and
right.
then get people to the next bit, I mean, like we did last night, me saying, okay, you have a day and a half to kill. Do you want to role play through it, or do you just want to say, yep, we killed that day and a half?
Right. That's true.
So, you can encapsulate as much or as little of time and space and story as suits you.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. You're the GM. You can do whatever you want.
Yep. It just has to make some sort of sense that the players can follow. That's right. in my life of running this and other games, as long as there seems to be a reason why things are happening the way they are, players are usually okay with dealing with whatever comes.
Right, as long as there's continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you don't end up in the, rock slide, you all die. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah. That's how you lose players. That's how you get people who don't want to play your game again.
Well, yeah, because the idea of there nothing being able to save anyone in a TPK on just a whim, that's nobody's going to want to do that ever again.
Right. Unless it's designed in the game.
Well, unless it's the end of a one shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, Mike talks about, he used Villains and Vigilante rules to run a Terminator game. And everyone who played that game made 3 characters.
3 characters,
with the expectation that you might have no characters left by the time you get to the big fight at the end of the game.
Right.
Because it's fucking brutal. I mean, it was the future war against the machines, and humans were way on the disadvantage.
Right. They did not have an option not to win.
So I am kind of curious, since the first time through with Possums, it was chickens were the bad guys. I'm curious what species might be the bad guys this time.
Well,
I would love to see kittens.
That would be fun.
A cabal of evil kittens.
I'll write it down. Cabal of evil kittens.
In a trench coat.
Oh, yeah. 3 in a coat.
Well, with kittens, it would have to be like a dozen in a coat.
That's true.
Because,
3 kittens in a slinky dog outfit.
Kittens are smaller than kobolds.
They are.
Significantly, so.
Yeah. That would be fun, though.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, or just something that, because of the way my brain works, I would immediately go, okay, what is the cutest thing on the planet?
Kittens.
Bunnies.
Bunnies.
Puppies.
Sloths.
Mm-hmm. Koala bears,
Oh, careful with koala bears. Don't get too close.
Yes. Trash pandas.
You could catch I actually wrote to somebody and said I would like to see a 3 or 4 species game run with possums, skunks, and alley cats. That'd be fun.
Yeah. And raccoons. I don't know why.
Oh, and raccoons. That was the other one. Yeah.
I have a thing for raccoons. I've always thought they're just fascinating.
They are. They're adorable.
Yeah. Someday, I may have a pet raccoon. Someday. We'll see.
That would be amazing. I would live in Michigan immediately if you did that. I know how to get Nikki back. We need a raccoon.
I have a friend of mine who actually raises domesticated chipmunks as pets. And I was so frickin' tempted because I adore chipmunks too.
Chipmunks are amazing. Much better than sugar gliders because you need a pair of those.
Yes, my brother had those. My brother Jason had those.
Yeah.
So.
What other fun races since we're here?
Oh,
because there's llama folk. There's all sorts of folk.
Right. I'm trying to think.
And at what point does it become possum folk, which are part possum, but they walk upright, do all the things, versus Humblewood,
right,
where the animals are
right
not easily made into folk, and they're only animals.
Right. I'm trying to think of something that we haven't seen commonly, sort of a half breed of. We've seen birds, we've seen various mammals, we've seen lizards.
Yeah.
Snakes.
Ugh.
It would be very interesting to figure out a snake folk. Like, how would that work?
I think I've seen them. I don't know. Kind of.
Well, Nagas are essentially snake folk.
Yeah.
So I guess they are there.
Interesting.
Penguins.
Ooh, penguin folk would be fun.
Penguin folk. But you'd have to be someplace cold.
Obviously.
Yeah.
There is a one-shot thing out there where it's actually you can be a different race. Oh no, not a one-shot. Actually, it's on D&D Beyond. One of the things that you can be is a different race. And it is like an interesting looking animal, kind of a aquatic animal situation. And that is the other thing, is there's not a whole lot of aquatic one-shot things.
Right.
Or in general, there isn't a whole lot of aquatic.
Yeah.
Rifts used to do Atlantis.
Well, D&D's done a couple things with merfolk and like sea elves.
Right. I didn't even think about that.
So there are a couple things out there, but you're right. There's not a lot of them. Underwater really doesn't get a lot of love in traditional Dungeons and Dragons.
It is probably there's space stuff and air stuff and everything, because you can work with all of that. Like, all of those things are known. The ocean is so deep and unknown.
Yeah.
And you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Unless you're a species that is for it. Otherwise, you'd be using a bazillion potions.
Oh, hey, there you go. Oh my gosh, there you go. A one-shot like Parks and Recs.
Right.
Except it's dolphins, penguins, and killer whales trying to get out of a SeaWorld type place.
Oh my gosh. Write it up. Write it up.
You heard it here first, folks.
We're going to make it.
Yeah.
Seize the world.
Nice.
Got it. Trust me with the puns.
SEA''S. Seize the world.
That's where I'm at.
Nice.
I already wrote it down like that.
Thank you. Maybe you
You're
and I
welcome.
can work on it together.
We'll do it. It'll be a one-shot. It'll be a one-page one-shot that'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be our first Patreon.
There you go.
There you go. I can't wait to see it.
Yep. And it would have to be, it would have to be set someplace which is like the Miami Seaquarium or something like that.
Oh yeah.
That's like right on the ocean.
Yeah. Or take it and do it like a finding fish situation where they went to the actual Australia, New Zealand part of the world where it was like everything is ocean.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Have it set somewhere in Oceania.
Mm-hmm. That's it. We're on it. That's our next adventure.
Nice. Yeah, I could see that. That would be a lot of fun, especially if we went the the Madagascar route with the penguins.
Oh, right.
They were my favorite part of those movies.
Well, right. I just actually watched, I think it was Madagascar. It was the penguins.
Mm-hmm.
Just today it came on, and I had not seen it before, and it was so stinking funny. Just the slapstick, the amount of slapstick is high.
Yes. Yeah, I can see ideas for this already.
Yeah. So you can do it as the Parks and Recs type format where you've got 4 animals and then different things, or you can do it as its own standalone game.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, though, what would the 4th be? I mean, you've got killer whales.
Octopus.
Oh, Octopus. There you go.
Sorry, I had it already because I thought about it, because you have to have 4. I mean, you should have 4.
Right. And already thinking about, I keep reading about that one octopus that keeps getting out of its tank and,
Yep. They're super stinking smart.
It just goes where it wants to.
It's like, I think I'll walk over here today.
It's kind of like, I really don't like that light. I think I'm going to climb out of here and turn it off, and then I'm going to climb back in and do what I want.
Right. See, yeah. Or have that be the big bad boss. That'd be fun too. Or as one of the not so fast DM onlys. I have it in my head. I feel like I don't want to keep talking about it because we're giving away all our tropes.
All right. So what have we learned today? That Nikki and Jeff should not just brainstorm together because they will come up with stinking cute things that now we have to write up.
There can also be a pet store one.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Kitties, puppies, birds.
It would be a Secret of Nim style game in a pet store.
Oh, that'd be fun.
The rats are the ones who are behind it all.
Oh, like New York rats. Bleh. Like I had a pet rat. There's a difference between.
Well, no. These would be pet store rats.
Oh, pet store rats.
Pet store rats, but they're the smartest. They're the smartest ones in the store.
They totally are.
And the cats are the bad guys.
I'm writing it down.
Because the lizards and the tarantulas and the puppies are all on board with getting out of here. And the cats hate all of them. The cats just look at all of them as food.
That is very true.
And they're like, if you get out, we'll help you.
What will we eat?
We'll help you get out so that we can get to you and eat you.
Right. All right. This is lucid flow charting.
Yeah.
This is what we do. We bounce ideas off and go crazy with it.
Yep. And it's even worse when Mike and Buddy are here too.
Oh yeah.
Because between the four of us, we can come up with just about anything.
Yeah. I'm 100% on this Seize the World. We got it. We're doing it.
I'm trying to come up with a name for the other one.
The pet store one?
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We have to get on them quick, though, because people could be watching this and sneak it out from underneath us.
Right. Nope. The way U.S. copyright law works, ladies and gentlemen, we've thought of it, therefore we own the copyright to it.
Woohoo! I love it.
So, because this is the equivalent of writing it down, because this is a physical copy that can be submitted.
Nice.
So technically, we've already got the copyright.
Woohoo!
And this will have a date stamp on it, so
there you go.
It works pretty well for us.
Yep. Or a board game. Just saying. God knows I'd love to kickstart a fun board game of our own. Because we need one more thing on our plates.
Right, exactly. Well, I don't know. Maybe a collectible card game.
Oh, those would be hard. See, now to me, that would be difficult. Ugh.
See, to me,
I've
that
played
seems
two
easier.
forms of it.
That seems easier to me than a board game.
Oh, no. Unless you have like 25 cards and that's it. Because the options are endless there. Thousands of cards.
Yeah. Well, but I'm thinking of games like Grave Robbers from Outer Space.
Never played it.
It's just a single deck, and you're trying to create a horror film. And your horror film is in contention with everybody else's horror film.
Yes, that purple.
Yep.
Yep. I have played that game at your house before, yes.
Yes. And, that's just one deck. And
True.
There's 3 different kinds of cards, and,
Yes, I was not thinking like that. I was thinking like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone trading cards.
Right. No, that would be.
That's why I was like, oh, that's an adventure there.
But
help me out.
But just a standalone like single deck card game, that could be done.
That could be fun.
So, all right.
One shots.
We've gotten so far afield.
That's what happens when you invite me on.
I know.
We talked about the things.
We did.
And we ran out of things to talk about on that subject.
We talked about the things, and then we kind of fell off on tangents like 8 times. But that's okay. Because eventually we got back to...
Well, it's not like we're missing... There aren't really more things to discuss about one-shots that we didn't already discuss in our previous one-shot episode.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, hopefully this was enjoyable, at least entertaining.
I hope so.
Nikki and I are going to go off and
Mike, come back.
Nikki and I are going to go off and work on Seize the World.
We are absolutely.
And that concludes our programming for the week. We'll be back on Sunday, and I think we're trying Defiance.
I don't know
Sunday.
What we're doing on Sunday, but we will be there for Board Remotely.
Mm-hmm. And we'll
3 o'clock Eastern.
3 o'clock Eastern. We'll pick back up with Player Chat, 7 p.m. Eastern on Monday.
Yep.
Lands of Acathan, our very first 5th edition dungeon crawl, 7 p.m. on Tuesday.
Not looking forward to it, but looking forward to it.
Yep. It's going to be a very interesting experiment for me.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll be back with more GM chat with me and whoever.
Yep.
A week from tonight.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
Remember, everybody, please stay safe. Do what you need to do to stay sane. Wear your mask. This COVID is a bitch.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't want any of you to catch it. So, just do what you need to do to survive and thrive in this weird-ass world that we find ourselves in now.
This alternate universe that we accidentally got switched to.
Yes. The alternate 2020 we're in.
Somewhere, somehow, someone crossed the streams.
Yep. But we'll figure it out. And 2021's just around the corner now, so.
It's close.
Yep. So, anyway, have a good night. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, Nick. Good night.